Okay, so we have talked about how to find the slope and y-intercept given a graph. Today, we are only going to be given 2 points or a table. So yes, we can do this graphically. We can plot each point on a coordinate plane and then collect the rise over the run and the y-intercept, but that would take a lot more time. So we are going to show you a calculator shortcut to do this. So first things first, number one, if I'm given coordinates, make sure you know the difference between your x coordinate and your y coordinate. So x comes before y in the alphabet, so x comes before y on my ordered pair. So this is xy, this is xy. The reason why that's important is because when I type this in the calculator, I need to make sure I put my x's on the left and my y's on the right. So here's some calculator steps. First thing we're going to introduce is something called stat. So stat is under the delete button next to the arrows. So you click stat. We want to edit because we want to edit the list that we have or that we're given. And you're giving columns here, lists. And we are going to type my coordinates into these first 2 columns. So the first coordinate is 1, 1. So I'm going to put 1 on the left, enter, and then 1 on the right, enter. So it literally looks like the coordinate 1, 1 right next to each other. Then I take my next coordinate and I go back to the left and I do 4 on the left and 3 on the right. How I know that I did this correctly is my coordinate is next to each other, 4, 3, 1, 1, okay? And then we're going to perform what we call linear regression, which means a fancy way of saying, give me my slope and y-intercept equation for these 2 points. So in order to do that, we go to stat, over to calculate, calc, and we're going to use number 4, lin-reg. That's linear regression, so number 4. And then it should say list 1, list 2, which we don't ever have to change. So we just hit enter, enter till we get to calculate. We hit enter under calculate and we are given my slope and my y-intercept. On my calculator, the slope is the A, where we're used to seeing it as M, and the y-intercept is the B. So we're literally, this is my slope and my y-intercept. So my slope is 0.6 repeating. Okay, we're going to ignore the 7 at the end. 0.6 repeating, and my y-intercept is 0.3 repeating, okay? Now, nothing wrong with leaving it in this form, but 99% of the time, they're gonna want you to convert it to a fraction anytime it's a decimal. So in order to convert 0.6 repeating into a fraction, if you don't already know what it is, what you do in your calculator in your home screen is you type 0.66666 all the way to the MP, and then alpha y4, which says change this decimal to a fraction, which it has converted it to 2/3. Then we're going to do the same thing for the y-intercept, 0.3333333 all the way to the MP, alpha y4 again, for decimal to fraction, hit enter, and it changes it to 1/3. So now that we have our answers in fraction form, we are going to write the equation y equals mx plus b like we practiced the last couple of days. So y equals my slope, which is 2/3 x, because my slope is always next to x. And since my y-intercept is positive 1/3, it's plus 1/3, like we've been practicing writing. Okay, let's do the exact same thing, but we're going to get 2 more points. So how we do this is we go to stat again, edit. Since we already have something there, you just hit delete, 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 delete. Make sure you delete those numbers that were there. And then we're going to type in my new coordinates. So -2 on the left, 4 on the right, then 10 on the left, and -2 on the right. So always make sure you have the xy, xy, okay? Then it's the same calculator steps. Stat, over to calculate, number 4, and then we're going to do enter, 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 enter till we hit to calculate. And then it's going to give me my slope and y-intercept. So my slope is -0.5. My y-intercept is +3. There's only one of those that's a decimal, the -0.5, so I need to convert that to a fraction. If you don't know what -0.5 is as a fraction, then we're going to do it in our calculator. So you do -0.5. I don't have to do 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 because it's not repeating, it's just -0.5. Alpha y4, enter, and it changes it to a fraction for me, so -0.5 is -1/2. I do not have to do that for 3 because it's not a decimal. So then I just write my equation. Y equals my slope, -1/2 x, and my y-intercept is +3, so we write +3. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing over and over again. So we go back to stat, we hit edit. I want to clear my list because we have new points, so delete, 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 delete. Okay, and then here's my new points. So I type in -4 on the left, 5 on the right, then go back, -8 on the left, and -5 on the right. So make sure you tell the calculator where to type these in. So xy, xy, then I go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. My new slope and y-intercept, so my slope is 2.5, my y-intercept is +15. We want to convert that 2.5 into a fraction. We can't leave it 2.5, so 2.5 alpha y4 converts it to a fraction, so 2.5 as a fraction is 5/2. Then I write my slope-intercept equation, so this is y equals my slope, which is 5/2x. Since it's +15, I write +15. Number 4, again, same steps over and over again. We're going to go back to edit, delete, 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 delete. Then I type in my new coordinate, 10 on the left, 0 on the right. On the left, I go -2 and 4 on the right. Make sure it's set up exactly like it's written. Then we go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. My new slope and y-intercept, my slope is -0.3 repeating, and my y-intercept is +3.3 repeating. Both need to be converted to fractions, so here we go. I type in -0.3333333 all the way across to the MP. Since it's repeating, alpha y4, enter. Okay, now let me explain why I have you convert that to, or type it in the way I do. Is because if I just did -0.3, even though I know it's repeating, my calculator doesn't know that, and I hit alpha y4, it gives me a completely different fraction. If I just do -0.333 like a few of them, it's the same idea. It's not going to give me, it's not even going to convert it to a fraction. So I have to literally type in my calculator 333333333 all the way across to the MP and then alpha y4. So just for accuracy, make sure you do that. Same thing for 3.3 repeating. So 3.3333333 all the way alpha y4, and it converts it to 10/3. Now I put my slope-intercept equation together. So y equals my slope, which is -1/3 x. My y-intercept is +10/3, so +10/3. Number 5, go back to stat, edit. I'm going to delete, delete, and go left, delete, delete. Then I type in my new points. So this is 5 on the left, 9 on the right. Back to the left, 3 on the left, 9 on the right. So 5, 9, 3, 9, yes. Then I go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. Now here, my slope is 0 and my y-intercept is 9. So technically, I don't have to convert any of these to fractions because there are no decimals. So technically, if I were to write this, it would be y equals 0x plus 9. But I am not going to see my answer written like that. Since it's y equals 0x plus 9, 0 times anything is just 0. So my actual equation is y equals 9. So that's one of those special cases. If you look at my actual points or coordinates here, if you notice that the y's are 9. So that's why it's y equals 9, because it's always going to go down y equals 9 or horizontally. So number 6, same thing. Go back to stat, edit, delete, 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 delete. And I go -7 on the left, 8 on the right, -7 on the left, 5 on the right. Go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. If you look, it says error. And I go back to stat, and I know I typed it in correctly. Like I know I have my coordinates in correctly, -7 on the left, 8 on the right, -7 on the left, 5 on the right. So when this happens, and you go to stat calc 4, and you did everything correctly, but it still gives you error. This is one of those special cases also where the slope is undefined. Okay, so you're like, well, how can I get my equation from this? Since my slope is undefined, I know my equation is not y equals, it's actually x equals. And to actually figure out what x equals, I look at my coordinates. Both x's are -7. So my x equals -7. Just like over here, my y equals +9. So these two are your special cases. We're going to take that same idea but apply it to tables. Nothing is different, to be honest. It's just more numbers to deal with. So I go back to stat, edit, delete, 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 delete. And then a table is nice and neat because it's kind of already set up for you. So instead of me going back and forth, I'm going to do all my x's on the left. So 2, 4, 6. Then I'm going to do all my y's on the right. 425, 525, and 625. So it's a little quicker, but tables are nicely organized for you. So then I go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. And I get my equation. My slope is 50. My y-intercept is 325. None of them are decimals, so I'm not going to convert them to fractions. So we just write our equation. Y equals my slope, which is 50x, and my y-intercept is positive, so plus 325. Okay, a couple more tables. This time my table is horizontal. So just keep in mind on a horizontal table, my x's are on top and my y's are on bottom. So when I go to stat and I delete, 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 I'm going to type in all my x's on the left side. So -2, 0, 2, 4, 6. Then I'm going to type in all my y values on the right. 4, 1, -2, -5, -8. So then I go to stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. And I have a new slope and y-intercept. So my slope is -1.5. And my y-intercept is 1. We need to convert that decimal to a fraction. So -1.5 alpha y4 converts to -3/2. Now I can put my equation together. Y equals my slope, which is -3/2 x. My y-intercept is positive, so +1. Okay, the last table on our notes. I go back to edit, delete, 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 delete. And then I type in my x values, which is the top numbers on the left. -4, -5, -6, -7. My y values on the right, so -2, -1, 0, 1. Stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. My slope is -1, my y-intercept is -6. Decimal, there's no decimals here, so I don't need to convert to fractions. But if I write my equation, y equals -1x, my slope. And since the y-intercept is -6, I'm going to put -6. Now, on this one, what you're going to notice when you try to look for your answer is that they don't put a 1 if it's next to a variable. So how they're actually going to write this one is -x minus 6. So anytime you see a variable by itself, just remember there's an invisible 1 there. So there you go.